Good morning, everyone. I'm back. This is Nicole with another review for 7 Seconds. This time, episodes 5 through 7. I apologize in advance for the sound in the back. I'm recording this video outside. There are quite a few birds out here, and so excuse the background noise. I'll try to speak up. So this is coming from Tracking Board again. And the way I got this view to get rid of the ads on the right side of the page, when you go to the page, just click Simplified View and you'll be able to see the text easier. So this is a picture from this show of Regina King, the mother of the show. Of course, as you remember from the previous video, she lost her son, Brentley Benton. Excuse me, Brenton. What was it like? Butler. Brenton Butler, excuse me. And at the end of the episode, 7th episode, KJ and Fish. So Fish is the white lawyer, played by Michael Mosley. They nail Peter Jablonski and the rest of the police cover-up crew, which is a wolf gang, crew as I call it, wolf pack. And they nail them in Brenton Butler's murder. But the question still remains, as it does in real life, will Jablonski be convicted? Will any of them be convicted? They tampered with evidence. They tampered with a crime scene. They left a boy to die. They were accomplices in his murder as well because they did not do their job as police officers. They did not try, failure to assist and aid, anything. So let's go on. Leading up to Jablonski's arrest, Tracy, her name is Patrice, they call her Tracy, played by Regina King. Brenton's mom finds out before KJ and Fish that Jablonski is the murderer. She tries to get her husband, Saya, and his name is Isaiah, they call him Saya for short. She wants him to ride with her to Jablonski's house to confront him, but Saya sees her as a potential danger to herself and others. And as a fanatic Christian, he says that he asked the pastor to come to the house for a, quote, spiritual intervention, end quote. And that sends Tracy into an impassioned frenzy. She declares that God wasn't with her son as he laid out in the cold, alone and clinging to his life in a New Jersey park. He bled out about 80 to 90% of his blood, bled out of his body. She pretty much tells her husband and his God to kick rocks. She said more than that, but you can watch to see what she really said. Then she leaves, convinced that her calling is to take care of Jablonski herself. And the author, I think this is Jennifer again, she says, what I love and hate about Tracy and Zaya's relationship is that it's annoyingly familiar. As a Black American woman, there is always that one passive Christian family member who is so under the control of a church that he or she refuses to be in their feelings about real things, like losing a son that they will never get back. Saya tries to convince his wife that she must move on with her life after Brenton's murder, and that his God should be the one that she leans on. But Saya's input on how she should grieve is not only ridiculous, it has no weight, because he admittedly did not take the time to get to know his son. He is reminded of this by Tracy, his brother Seth, and Brenton's old friend. As a woman who grew up in the Black Christian church, so Jennifer, I'm assuming, is Black, love is the most important commandment, and like Saya said, many Christians don't put that commandment into practice. Saya was so confused on taking care of the church by showing up on time for service and playing the piano for choir rehearsals that he forgot to take care of his home by loving the people in it. I just had to pause for effect right there. Hopefully that statement sinks in to a lot of people. What a shame that his son was killed and he knew nothing about him. And I think Tracy asked him, You know, what did you know about him? What did you like most about him? And he couldn't even answer the question. And there's certain things he didn't know about him that were very important and close to his heart that I'll get to maybe in this video or the next video. So I understand why Tracy would reject her husband's advice and the God he prays to. I would have done the same thing. And personally, me speaking, Nicole, I would have done the same thing too. Because God didn't kill her son. A man, like she said, God didn't kill my son. A man did that. So a man has to pay the price for it. That's only logical to me. When Tracy leaves her husband in the dust, she puts all her effort into getting more information about Jablonski and lawyering up, all while living out of her car. Listen, this is mother's love we're talking about. They're willing to do anything for their children, especially dead ones who were killed by dirty cops. When KJ and Fish finally have enough evidence to declare that cops were behind Brenton's murder, she asks Tracy to point out the cop who killed Brenton in a photo of all the cops in that particular precinct. She scans the entire photo and asks, "Is this everyone?" KJ says yes, but then again, KJ don't really know what's going on, and half the time she's drunk, so you can't really go by her judgment. But Jablonski wasn't in the photo. Remember, Jablonski is a rookie, so this picture was probably taken, you know, a year or two ago when he wasn't even on the force yet. But again, KJ and Fish don't realize that. After this encounter, I imagine that Tracy thought KJ and Fish may really be on the cop side. And this is when Tracy turns completely cold to KJ's help, because she's dropped the ball too many times. She's convinced that she must take care of Jablonski Kill Bill style. Tracy goes to her brother-in-law Seth, who has now rejoined the 5 gangs selling dope on the corners, because remember, he's a veteran. He can't make money. He's waiting in line. He's on a waiting list to get benefits from the military and can't do so because he's on a waiting list. And while he's on that waiting list for benefits, as far as a job or health care, things like that, he's sitting there he's like a sitting duck right now, especially with the fact that everybody knows his nephew was just killed. So he goes back to the corners. He goes back to what he knows. His brother is against that. He wants him to be in the church more. He's like, fuck that, I'm out. So she asks him for a gun because she knows that's the only way to get justice for her son. And in a beautiful scene, Seth puts her to the test. He forces her to point a gun at a stray dog and commands her to kill the dog. As she raises the gun, she is shaking like a leaf. Seth snatches it out of her hand, and as he pulls the trigger, Tracy smacks his arm away. She's not a killer. She realizes she's not a killer. But she's also not a fanatic Christian either. So you see the turmoil and the contradiction of her life and what she's been brought up to believe now being put to the test. She's not a fanatic Christian, but she can't pull the trigger. She can't kill somebody, even though they did wrong to her. So she's stuck in the middle, which is the worst place to be in this type of situation. Being a fanatic Christian is made clear during a Justice for Brenton protest outside the precinct. A mother who suffered a loss of one of her children being killed by the cops tells Tracy that she must forgive the cop who killed her son. Tracy said no, and I agreed with her. The problem with the Christian turn the other cheek and forgive whenever possible is that those can't be applied when a group of people regarded your son as trash. Nah to forgiving, especially at this stage, is reprehensible. Maybe Tracy can revisit that if Jablonski is remorseful. Maybe. I doubt it. But when you break down the word forgive, it means to pardon. How can a mother sincerely pardon someone for covering up her son's murder? I mean, really, it's ludicrous. The only one who should be in the forgiving business in that situation is God. But on earth, Jablonski and the rest of them owe her big. But how would they pay? The lawyer that Tracy has now lost said that a big payout is one of the ways to do it. At the moment, a conviction is what Tracy wants. Excuse me, y'all. There's a ambulance coming. Okay. But what kind of conviction and at what kind of sentence? All of that matters because a loose conviction and a barely there sentence could actually send Tracy to the dark side. When Jablonski is put under arrest, he asks KJ if he can say goodbye to his newborn son. KJ responds no, making a smile in amazement because in any other show, that man would have been able to do that because he is white. But this man is a murderer. If Brenton wasn't afforded his shoes while he laid cold and comatose in the snow, then Jablonski doesn't get to say goodbye to his newborn son. Not sorry. And then she's concluding by saying 7 seconds is heating up, and I am just so excited to see how this will all end. I am crossing my fingers that no one involved in the murder will be spared. But this is a story set in America, so having hope might be borderline delusional. We will see. And there are a few things that that Jennifer left out. I believe it's Jennifer again. Yep. The Uncle Seth went to the police station during this protest outside. It was looking like Ferguson outside the police station. Not because they knew who the police officers were who killed Brenton, but because they knew they were police. That was enough to get people protesting about this. And I think they were referring to Ferguson, Baltimore, and other incidents that occurred in real life in this episode. The Uncle Seth went up there not to discuss anything. He was like, look, the talking is over. I'm done with talking. He was there to, as it was framed, it seemed as though he was there to take this dude out. Or take out any cop that he felt was involved in the murder of his nephew. And Fish is there speaking with him, sitting on the bench, and he's thinking that the uncle is going to pull a gun out. And when the uncle stands up, Fish stands up. Fish puts his hand on his gun, thinking, am I going to have to kill this man because he's going to try to kill me or anybody here? Seth pulls out a picture. He said, this is Brenton. This is who he is. This is a picture of him. And he was not, it wasn't meant for it to be like this. Like, this is not what his life was supposed to be. He was a child, and they killed him. And if you all don't do something about this, something will be done to you. That's pretty much what he's giving him a lot of, hidden threats in that scene. Very heavy, very, very heavy scene right there. And then later on, Jablonski showed up during the protest to turn himself in. And I don't think he was, I think he was able to later on. But at that time, he felt like it wasn't really the time. And I think Fish looked out the window and saw that Jablonski was outside. And he was thinking, oh, shit, this dude, before Seth put out the picture, he was thinking he about to kill him. Because Fish knew Jablonski was the killer. I don't think Seth knew Jablonski was the killer. Because you have to remember, the mother, Tracy, is living in her car for like a month or something. And we'll get to why she was living in her car for so long, perhaps another episode. But these 3 episodes really focused on the mother and the uncle, and the split between the mother and the father. And it gives you backstory on some of those characters, the mother, the father, Tracy, Isaiah, and Seth. It gives you some backstory on them, why they're doing the things they're doing right now. But anyway, I apologize again for the sound, the background noises. I will come back with another video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. And if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Check out some of my other content. And I'll see you soon in the next video. As always, have a great day.